17 states are accusing e-commerce giant Amazon of monopolizing the marketplace and abusing its power. A lawsuit filed yesterday in federal court alleging Amazon overcharges sellers, inflates prices, and stifles competition.
William Tong is the Attorney General for Connecticut, one of those 17 states involved in this lawsuit. I know it kind of gets buried in other news right now, politics and shutdown and other things, but this is potentially a massive story. This is the 17 states and the federal government going after a massively, almost incomprehensibly wealthy and successful company. For the folks who only know Amazon, when they go to the app or on their laptop to order the new toothpaste and a new kid's toy or whatever, explain in layman's terms what you all believe Amazon does in its everyday user experience that hurts the consumer and makes this a worthy lawsuit.
Thank you, and thanks for having me on this morning. They're not just massive, they're not just hugely successful, they're dominant. Right? You talked about all the people that are on the app every single day. That's all of us. I mean, I love Amazon. I'm on Amazon all the time. So is my wife, so are my kids. It is dominant in our lives. And what's wrong, there's nothing wrong with Amazon being successful. There's nothing wrong with being massive. What's wrong is using their market power because they're so dominant to shut out competitors, to kill competition, and to make everybody play by the rules. For example, they effectively dictate the price that everyone sets for the goods that we look for online because they can use their technology to find what competitors are selling goods and products for, and they can undercut them in an instant. And then the sellers on their platform, if they try to undercut each other, Amazon punishes them by denying them access to the Prime designation, by denying them the buy button. They punish them by pushing them down in the search results to maintain that price discipline. So using that power is illegal, and we want to stop Amazon from doing that.
So you think it's anti-competitive behavior. What do you ultimately hope this lawsuit accomplishes? What's the goal here? Is it to break up Amazon? Is it to have a financial penalty, change the way it does its business?
It's really to stop Amazon from leveraging that power to shut out competitors, to exclude any other people online selling products directly to consumers, and shutting out sellers from other choices, using other fulfillment services, for example, other than Prime and Amazon's robust marketing, fulfillment, and delivery system. That's one of the things that they do here. They use Prime as a weapon. And so if you're a seller, you're a small business, you're a mom and pop in Connecticut, you know, Amazon increasingly is really your only option. But in order to be on Amazon, in order for your products to be high up in the search results, in order for you to get Prime as a designation, in order for you to access that shipping delivery service, in order for you to get that buy button, you've got to do everything Amazon tells you to do and pay every fee that Amazon tells you to pay. And you have no choice. And what ends up happening is sellers pay an Amazon tax, a huge Amazon tax, a percentage of what they charge all of us. And that tax effectively gets passed on to us, and those prices go up, and they will go up over time increasingly on all of us.
And thank you for giving real life examples, because I think money stories are hard to follow for everybody. But understanding that where something is when you search, understanding that if it's Prime eligible, understanding that the buy button's right there, that's stuff we all can relate to if you use Amazon. So just thanks for helping us kind of understand, at least according to this lawsuit, you know, kind of how the system works and what goes on to create what we see and how we see it when we shop. That's fascinating. So the Amazon statement that was put out, okay, this is what they're saying, and I want to get your reaction to this, that the FTC's lawsuit would lead to higher prices, also slower deliveries for customers, and one of the reasons Amazon is so popular is, of course, that next-day service, which we all love. Let's face it. What is your response to that statement? Will this lawsuit, if successful, hurt consumers?
They're wrong, and what we in the antitrust space, in the law enforcement space, say, if there hadn't been an antitrust enforcement action against Microsoft a generation ago, there would be no Amazon, there would be no Google, there would be no Meta. Amazon wouldn't exist because Microsoft could have stood in the way of innovation more than a generation ago. But we took strong action. We opened up the market. By the way, Microsoft is the second most valuable company on earth still and is dominant in our lives. And so Microsoft is not worse for wear. We just want Amazon to play by the rules. And for Amazon to say, come on, we're not dominant, we don't have monopoly power, flies in the face of what we experience and know every single day. All of us, our families, live in this gigantic Amazon ecosystem. And if they're in control of everything, we all know what will happen. We won't have choice. Prices will go up. We'll be beholden to them. And that's not good for consumers. Everybody gets that.
When you say play by the rules, what specifically do you mean? What would you like to see Amazon do?
You know, for example, in order to get the Prime designation, or in order to get that buy button, in order to get your products high up on search results, you've got to do everything Amazon tells you to do, including using Amazon's fulfillment service. So that's on its face illegal under antitrust law, which is to engage in unlawful exclusionary conduct to prevent you as a seller from using somebody else, you know, from shipping through somebody else, from going, you know, using another fulfillment service or delivery service. Amazon says, you've got to use us all the way through. And if you don't, we'll punish you.
Before we let you go, kind of a two-part question here. Why now? Amazon's been a mind-blowing success for years, so why the lawsuit now? And two, what would you tell the person who's watching this right now that says, I hear you, I get it, but I assume anything that's that big and that wealthy, there's always some messiness behind the scenes, maybe some illegal things, but the bottom line is I want my laundry detergent on Tuesday and I want the new kid's toy there in 2 days like Prime promises me, so I really don't care.
Yeah, I think people really want to pay fair prices, and they don't want to pay any more than they have to pay in a free and fair market. And I think that most Americans understand that things are too expensive already, and with the inflationary pressure that we feel and the supply chain pressure that we all became acquainted with so intimately during the COVID pandemic, we all want access to goods and services, but we want them at low prices in a competitive environment. And we don't want one big player locking the whole market up. And so I think people understand that the best thing for all of us as consumers in a global marketplace is for everyone to play by the rules and for there to be a competition, not just for our clicks and our wallets, but for our eyeballs as well.
Mm-hmm. And is the end game here the change? Is there a big fine attached to this? What's the punishment if the lawsuit goes your way? Just in 10 seconds.
Again, I want them to play by the rules. I want them to stop punishing sellers and competitors. And if they do that, we don't have a problem.
William Tong, Connecticut Attorney General, thanks so much for coming on. We appreciate it.